From Lego bricks to glass dance floors, today's guest has turned modular thinking into a nightlife empire. Amit Roy is the co-founder of Shilton Hospitality and ThinkTanc, the brain behind Watson's iconic neighborhood pubs and over 200 restaurant builds across India. He is the guy investors call when Excel sheets meet empty dance floors, the Iceman who cools partner meltdowns at 3 a.m., and the consultant operator who understands that the heart of any great venue isn't the view, it's the back of house. Tonight, we dive into how he models hype, hacks licensing, and turns music into margin, all while keeping a Lego Millennium Falcon on his desk to remind him that every great concept is just bricks and imagination. Amit, welcome to the Vic Fix.
Hi Vicky, thanks to have me here. I truly appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
While doing my research, I was very pleasantly surprised as well as amazed as to how you could do 200 brands in such a short span of time. But I'm sure there's a vision and it's all been driven by passion.
Definitely. So the whole journey started that my family is in hospitality.
Right.
The company was started by my father, and we were into kitchen equipment supply, and we set up the first cafe coffee day in Bangalore. The coffee machines were supplied by us. The first KFC in India was done by us. And we were in the equipment business. But luckily for me, even from my school days, I love the food industry. And thanks to Dad's business, I got the behind the scenes outlook of what happens in terms of, say, Cafe Coffee Day or KFC or Subway or McDonald's for that matter. And that was my passion. That's when I realized that I want to get into F&B. As much as my father was against it, my family was against it, saying that, boss, that's not the business. We work office hours, 9 to 5.
Right.
So, like I said, Dad was against it. And then I finished my college. I joined Dad in the business.
Right.
I worked with Dad for a couple of years, and then I realized I wanted to do hospitality in further.
Okay.
I wanted to pursue hospitality. So I moved to Australia to do my MBA in hospitality and tourism. Coincidence was that the best university which supplied that course was in Melbourne, and my brother was already studying in Melbourne.
Okay.
So both of us are in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Staying together, and there I started working for a restaurant.
When you were studying, it was part-time.
As a part-time student.
Yes.
The second day of me landing in Australia, I got my job of working in a restaurant because of my restaurant background, which I had a view of. I didn't have experience, but I knew how it worked.
Correct.
So from there, it just moved on and on and on, and I started running the entire restaurant for the owners themselves. They could trust me and leave it and go. Then my parents came to Australia. They saw what I was doing and they were very happy and proud.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, thank you. And that's when I moved to the meat and wine company.
Right.
Which was the number 2 or number 3 steakhouse in Australia in those days.
Yeah.
So they had branches in Australia. It's a South African company.
Yeah.
And they also have brands in Dubai, Middle East and everything. So I used to work for them. I opened their restaurant in Sydney for them in Parramatta. And I was the youngest manager.
Right.
In their history. We did some crazy numbers.
Right.
And after that, I came back to India. The moment I came back to India, I realized that restaurants are growing, but no one has the official know-how of the knowledge, target market, spending power, trends. So your book knowledge, which is what I studied, is not applied. So it was more like, I want to open a restaurant. There was no thought or depth to it. Right. Of course, we had iconic brands, but any new brand coming in was like, okay, I found some good real estate, let's open. but there was no scientific know-how to it.
There was no F&B consulting or turnkey F&B consulting at that point of time.
Yeah.
Right.
So you had a chef consultant,
Yeah.
you had a manager consultant. The chef consultant would do the kitchen, do
Yeah.
the recipes, do all that. The manager consultant would set up the front of house. So that's where we decided to get into place, and that's when I met Anupam, my partner,
Yes. Yes.
and we created ThinkTanc.
Right.
That we use numbers to get into the business,
Right.
get knowledge into the business, and get it professionally backed with numbers and facts, rather than just being that, okay, you and me decided ki let's
Exactly.
open a restaurant. What do we open? Let's see what.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's
Right.
like which area, what's the size of the property, what's the target market, what is our competition, and what will work, what will not work,
Right.
what's the trend for the next 2-3 years, and putting all numbers and logic to the brand is how we started creating brands and under ThinkTanc.
While I was reading up, doing some research, we noticed that Skyye was your first client that you approached. Is that correct?
Skyye was not my first client,
Okay.
but it was the first 2 years of us forming a company.
Right.
Our first client was a brand in Mysore, but Skyye was an exciting brand,
Right.
and it was something that we hold dear to our heart because it's been more than 15 years now. And it would be great to hear, we used to get calls from Dubai and London and saying that, me and my friends are coming down, get a table organized for us for the next weekend. Now, obviously, it was a challenge because it was a rooftop space. So it's open air.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's UB City. It cannot be just another
Right,
bar.
right.
It was also the time when RCB was just launched in
Right.
its prime. IPL was big.
Yes.
So in fact, we have had Chris Gale with us behind the DJ console.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have Mr. Malia, who visited us
Right.
multiple times.
Yeah.
And at one point of time, it was one of the top 3 places in India.
So how did this whole concept, how did you envision this?
So the whole thing with Skyye was that, like we said, it had to be a game changer,
Right.
right? We were the only people at that point of time
Yeah.
to charge an entry fee.
Right.
The highest entry fee in Bangalore
Yeah. Yeah.
was charged by us.
Right.
Now, for us to charge you that, I had
Yeah.
to make it that much more exclusive. So our promoters and the architect
Right.
gave us free hand in
Right.
helping us design the space. And that's when we realized that since it's a roof space, multi-levels will work.
Yeah.
And like most of the rooftop bars globally,
Yeah.
I can't use top lights.
Correct.
We have to use underlights.
Underlights. Right.
But at the same time, not make it sleazy. So
Yeah.
that's when we came up with this whole design
Right.
and everything with Tony Kunnell, who was one of the principal architects at that point of time. And Divyashri was the other
Yes.
promoters
Yes.
as well. And we created the whole concept around it in such a way that it looks classy and premium,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the same time, not something that they find it sleazy. So that's how we started the whole thing. And then we had those huge 14-foot doors at the entrance.
Yeah.
So it had to be premium. It had to be top notch.
Right.
That when you come in over there, you don't look at the price on the menu card. You just look at what you want to have.
Okay. And this was the first big project that you did, right? For under
Yeah.
ThinkTanc.
Under ThinkTanc, that was our first big project in Bangalore.
So can you walk us through the opening night and what happened on the opening night?
Oh, don't ask me. we had more than 1,500 people there
Right.
in a space which could occupy 800 or 900. And obviously everyone wants to be seen.
Yeah.
Because in Bangalore, it's the whole to be seen scenario.
Right. Yeah.
And we have had people trying to sneak in from the back door and everything. And we had to go through it, but at the same time, make sure that our invitees, our
Yeah.
actual guests,
Right.
are taken care of.
That experience is not spoiled. Correct.
So they can't come and say, "Arey, we went to Skyye and it was such a bad experience on the
course.
launch night."
Yeah.
So that was a challenge, and our biggest challenge was that our kitchen was 2 levels above the venue, so all the food had to be run down
Right.
in
Correct.
stairs. We
Yeah.
didn't have lifts or a
Right.
dumb waiter. At the same time, we had to make sure the food was warm, hot, and fresh when it's served to you.
Of course.
After running down 2 floors or sitting there for 15 minutes. So that was one of the challenges that we faced. And of course, the other thing was the guest list, which went
Correct.
way beyond because
Correct.
people wanted to be there. So how we did the launch was the first launch was with friends and family only
Right. Right.
of the promoters. The second launch was with the people of the project, which was the first in the industry. No one had done it. And this is something that ThinkTanc asked them and requested them to do, and the
Super.
promoters supported us, was people who built the venue. So AV guys,
Yes.
civil
everyone's getting that
contractors,
importance.
yes,
Yeah.
the chef, the kitchen equipment vendors,
Right.
the lighting guys, and they felt really appreciated as well.
And that's how you build a family.
And it's a long-term relationship because
Of course.
just because I bought it from you today does not mean that I forget you.
Correct.
Tomorrow for repairs and service, I have to call you only for it, the same thing.
Right. Right.
So
This is a golden rule that so many venues just ignore. They don't take care of their staff. They don't build a culture.
that's the second launch we had. And the third was the final launch where we invited the guest list.
Right. And that's when the whole
Chaos happened.
chaos
yeah.
happened.
Yeah, that was chaos. It went on late, way beyond
Right.
deadline, offline, but yeah.
Right.
But that's when it happened.
So, and I think further along the line, there were some other issues that popped up as well with regards to the sound levels. And so, what lessons did you take away from this whole Skyye experience?
So the first thing we understood over a period of time is that sound travels,
Right.
and especially at height.
Correct.
So it's like an umbrella effect. So, for example, if there's music playing loud right here,
Yeah.
and if you're right below it,
Right.
you will not hear it. But if you're 500 meters away from it, you'll hear it because sound travels like this. We used to have complaints from people on Kasturba Road and people near Bangalore Club. And we were like surprised
Yeah.
because there are residences just around UB City and none of them complained. So what was happening?
Right.
So that's when we realized that sound is traveling like this and falling down.
Yeah.
So based on that, we worked with Audio Lotus,
Right.
who Vasi and Roshan, who did all our sound.
Yeah.
And we repositioned all our speakers and reprogrammed the entire sounding,
Okay.
the entire AV,
Right.
so that sound doesn't travel
Understood.
beyond that zone. And with all our neighbors,
Yeah.
we gave them our personal numbers so that if there is a problem, don't bother about calling the landline, call us directly, we'll attend to it.
So the sound issue came into control with that person.
With that, it came into control.
Right.
And what happened was with the neighbors,
Yeah.
the biggest concern was that you should be concerned about me.
Correct. Right.
So in most places,
Yeah.
if there's a sound issue, अच्छा sound issue है, manager से बात कर लो.
Huh. Right.
But here it was us going and meeting them personally
Superb.
and asking them
Yeah.
how loud, how bad is it, how can we fix it.
Actually genuinely understanding the problem and then giving them assurance. Yeah.
So one was that we showed them the care of fixing the sound issue.
Right.
Second was we actually fixed it. That post that we've never got a complaint.
Right.
So
And so at that point of time, you were managing Skyye as a partner,
as a
or
consultant,
as a consultant. Okay.
ThinkTanc is a consulting firm
Right. Right.
which is owned, co-founded by Anupam and myself.
Yes.
So we help you do a turnkey consulting in setting it up
Right.
and opening the venue.
Yeah. So how long was this? How long were you managing Skyye for?
For 4 years.
For 4 years, and after that you handed it over back to Divyashree and them to run it. So during the span of these 4 years, then you, I mean, of course, you kept adding other venues and you kept doing this, right? So how did the concept of Watson's come into your mind?
So Watson's was basically one of my partners, Jitesh Kanani,
Okay.
whom I know from college days. We actually went to see the building, which was under construction,
Right.
and I asked him if I want to open a parlor there.
Okay.
So a pizza
Right.
brand,
Yeah.
with beers and stuff like that.
Understood.
So he's like, the place looks nice, the view is lovely.
Yeah.
What about a bar?
This is the Indranagar outlet.
No, the Alsur, the first
Alsur.
one.
Oh, nice. That's a
Iconic,
beautiful
yeah.
location. Yeah.
So that's when he said, okay, come back.
Right.
We came back.
Yeah.
Like I said, building was in construction. So
Yeah.
we climbed up the stairs,
Right.
sat on those broken plastic chairs which construction sites have.
Yeah.
And we were overlooking the army golf course,
Correct.
which is bang opposite.
Right.
And he's like, I think a bar will do good here. I said, okay, let's do a bar. Well, that's it.
Right.
So next day, he came to me and said, Amit, I've spoken to a few of my partners.
Okay.
We're ready to do a bar. And I'm like, I thought I was going to take the place. What just happened? So obviously I said, okay, fine, I'll be a part of it. And we're a group of people who know each other for 20 plus years.
Great. So the camaraderie was already there.
Already then we knew each one's strengths and weaknesses and everything.
Yeah.
So we created Watson's and we were like, this is the first bar. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it at least is a watering hole for us to go and sign off without paying the bill.
Right.
Then we saw the success of it. Like for the first 4 months, we didn't even have an elevator in the building. So you had to climb the stairs for 4 floors. And I've had my grandparents who are 80 years old climb the 4 floors. I've had friends and family who have climbed just to sit there and have a drink and enjoy the space.
Nice.
That's when we saw that, okay, we have a winner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is doing way more than what we expected. And we have got the comfort zone. We have got the right spot, the sweet spot of customers. It's not very expensive, right? Like you could come in your tracks and your t-shirt after a game of tennis and say, I want to have 2 beers. I could finish my office and come in my tie and formals, remove my tie and have a few beers with me. That's what it happened. And the food also is the same, right?
Correct.
It's your regular food which you get normally, which we have upgraded to a next level and made it again comfort. So there's not a dish over there which you have not heard of or you have not eaten. But when you eat it, you'll say, this is wow, this is so tasty. So that's what we did. And then that's from there, we have grown to now 6 outlets and resorts and hotels.
I mean, I have also played at your outlet in Kochi as well as Chennai. And each of them has a different, there's a USP in every single one of them, which I think has been thoughtfully put over there to give a separate edge, right, to each one of them.
So what we thought was when initially, after we opened Alsur Asai Road Watson's, we expanded in Bangalore. Then we went to Goa. And then we realized that each market, even in Bangalore, my JP Nagar outlet, to my Indranagar outlet, to Vasant Nagar, to Alsur, behaves very differently.
Very different. Of course, different neighborhoods.
And it's just one city. So imagine Bangalore, Chennai, Goa,
of course.
It's
course.
going to be a huge this thing, right? So unfortunately, yes, we had to shut down Goa.
Right.
But that's when we realized that we have to keep our planning and our story and our demography to a 4 or 5 kilometer radius.
Okay. Okay.
And that's when we started realizing that USP creates a whole new vibe.
Right.
Like in Chennai, we are in T Nagar. There are enough and more bars
Yes.
there.
Yes. Yeah.
But none of them are like us. Kochi, we are just off MG Road, which is again the main center.
Yeah.
Again, we are positioned differently. Now, if you look at Bangalore, Vasant Nagar has a completely different vibe. Alsur has a different vibe.
Yeah.
Indranagar has a different vibe.
Yeah.
Indranagar, I know you have got Martin on your show, but so he creates chaos there. In simple words, there's no tables, there's a waiting line, but that's what happens, right?
Right.
Whereas in Alsur, I can't do anything. Can't have a band.
Yes.
I can't have a karaoke.
Yeah.
Because people don't like it.
But I see that's the beauty of it. You know, it's like you don't want to do so much or you don't want to do everything, right? Some places just need to breathe on their own.
Exactly. So we had initially when we opened, we got a couple of bands to perform.
Okay.
The bands were great.
Yeah.
Music was great. But we got abused a lot more. Saying you took away 5 tables.
Yeah, there's no space.
There's no space. We just want to chill and enjoy the music. Why is not the DJ playing?
Right.
That's when we realized that with Alsur, the music behind the counter from the DJ, the console, is more important than having a live gig.
Correct.
Or a live act.
No, so even I compliment Joy and, I have like told these guys that, brilliant curation on the music and just keep it that way because a lot of people miss that vibe with the weather, with the view and the way that place is. There's nothing else. Yeah.
I get calls. Where's Joy today? Where's he playing?
Right.
Which outlet I want to go? So So I think those are a couple of small things that we did right.
And what year did the conceptualization of Watson
2014 April we started.
Right.
And 2014 August we opened the Watsons in Alsur.
So this was just towards the end of Skyye when,
So basically the whole thing was with me being a consultant. I always wanted to open my own space. But like I said, my dad was always like, boss, we are not in this business.
Right.
We don't run bars and restaurants. Because him with his 45 years of experience while he was alive in the F&B business, he's seen the dark side to it as well.
Of course.
So he's like, Amit, you should not get into that.
Right.
But for me, ever since I was a kid, like I said, when I went to the KFC, the Subways and the coffee days, I was like, I want to open my own brand. I want to open my own restaurant. And even then I went to Australia, I started working in restaurants.
Right.
And doing everything.
The passion was always there.
So then finally I convinced him. And he agreed. And that's when Jitesh and me had that sitting on that broken chair. We decided that, okay, we'll open this. And rather than being a consultant, I'll be a partner.
Okay. Also, I think that you are one of the first brands which brought in the concept of having multiple owners, together at one, for one brand, which was unheard of. And that spawned off a lot more people going into that model and miserably failing, right? Because, of course, that camaraderie or that thought process wasn't there that you guys brought, right? So do you think that it's a model that works or?
See, it works as long as we respect each other's spaces and we respect each other's knowledge. Like, for example, at Watson's, the Shilton Group, that's a parent company. I handle F&B.
Okay.
So, the food, the menu, the drinks are decided by me.
Understood.
And the partners just support me.
Yeah, makes
Now,
sense.
you're my other partner
Right.
who decides on the venue, and we support you because
Understood.
that's where your strength is.
Yeah, yeah,
This is where my
yeah.
strength is.
And that's a healthy working
Yeah.
relationship as well. Yeah.
So,
Right.
we have a few partners who are just investors,
Got it.
and we have a
And they
few
just sit
who
on the
are
board.
active
Yeah,
partners.
understood.
And where I have seen it work and fail, because I've done other businesses as well, as
Yeah,
you got to respect the knowledge the other partner brings to the
brings.
table.
Yeah, correct.
Like, for example, you've been playing music for more than 15,
Yeah,
20 years,
yeah.
right? Now, if I tell you this music is not working out, I want something else.
Right.
What do I know? So I
Yeah.
have to respect if you tell me, Amit, Friday nights, I want to do classic retro.
Yeah, yeah. And they
And
should be a
trust me, the
thought
crowd
process.
will
Yeah.
come behind it.
Yeah,
I just need your help in promoting it this way.
you're right.
And then
Yeah,
I have to support you.
correct. You're
The
right.
moment that relationship is built, there's no friction.
Of course.
And like I said, touch wood,
Yeah, yeah.
it's been 10 years and we are growing and expanding and there's no friction whatsoever.
So over the journey of Think Tank, you have brought so many brands to life, right? Which are the top 3 most unique concepts according to you out of everything you have delivered till date?
So, of course, Skyye was our iconic
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah,
The other brand that we are very, I can't shortlist all of them, but Lucky Chan is something that we are very proud of as well,
okay,
because it's growing, expanding, and it's also the vision, because coincidentally the owner of Lucky Chan's name is also Amit,
okay,
but
right,
he's able to execute and grow it further.
right. So you have handed the place over to them.
Yeah,
now.
we have created the brand,
Right. Yeah.
and now he's expanding,
Superb.
and he's doing it so well that we are proud of it
Amazing.
as ThinkTank, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to be as a
Of
consultant.
course.
If I've taught you something,
Right.
and you get 100% marks,
Yeah.
I'm the happiest,
Of
right?
course,
I don't
yeah.
want you to rely on me for the rest of your life.
Correct.
The other one brand that we have is actually based out of two, actually, sorry.
Yeah.
One is in Rajasthan. It's a 26-acre property.
Wow.
It's called Sangam Farms.
Okay.
They have their own dairy and cattle on the ground.
Right.
They grow all their own vegetables.
Yeah.
So they make all their own dairy products, vegetables, herbs, everything. And it's a pure veg space.
Right.
And it's a luxury resort as well for only 5 rooms. That's it.
Amazing.
And it's been featured on Condé Nast.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is another thing. And these are the Sangam group from Rajasthan
Okay.
who are who are big in the industry. So
Yeah.
that. And the other one is a place called Lake District in Hyderabad. We did that project and everyone had written it off. Like even the promoters were like, whatever we do,
Yeah.
it'll do.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
We have the lease, so we have to do something.
Huh.
And then when it became one of the hottest places of that part of Hyderabad,
Right.
and it still is after 1.5 years,
Right.
they are like, thank you. So for me, it's
Amazing.
more that,
Yeah.
right? That your success
Yeah.
makes me happy.
Yeah.
I believe I've done my job by making a good product for you.
Absolutely. And you can only handhold till a certain part of time, right? Okay, so that's very interesting because I spoke to a couple of other people, who are in the industry, and they said me, ki boss, like, till the time that Think Tank is there, the place does really good. But the minute they go, it crumples. Okay, and for me, that's not a problem with you. There's a problem with how they are not able to match up or deliver to what standards have been set or what processes are being followed. So what's your take on that?
So that's a very touchy topic that you have touched on, Vicky. But see, the thing is that you need to have your hands on all the time in this business.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
It's like you as a DJ.
Yeah.
If you don't listen to music for 6 months,
I'll be obsolete.
you're
Yeah.
out of the season.
You're right.
So
Yeah.
our strongest thing is, one,
Yeah.
please follow what we have helped you set up, because you're paying me money for that, right?
Right. Right.
I'm not
right.
doing it for free for you.
Yeah.
I'm your consultant.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
charging a fee
Yeah.
and you're paying me. So please, whatever processes, whatever systems that I have set in place
Yeah.
as Think Tank, please follow it. One. Second, you need to know what's going on in the market, what's the pulse of the market, and adapt to it. Like, let's be honest, right now the hottest thing in town is smash burgers. 5 years back, forget 5 years, 2 years back, what were you and me talking about? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a trend. Now, you want to be in on that or no? Right? Like, we used to talk about hip hop nights. How many places in Bangalore have hip hop nights today?
Nothing.
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 Trend has changed. Correct? They're
Yeah.
more into commercial. Like,
Yeah.
when you started playing music,
Yeah.
have you heard of K-pop?
Not at all.
I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
For me, K-pop is another fancy word for lollipop or some new thing. But
Right.
what I'm trying to say is,
yeah.
so those are the aspects
Yeah.
that if once we leave, you and your team, we are training you. You and your team need to have a pulse on it. See, unless you're
Yeah.
a big organization where you don't have the time for it. Right,
Understood.
like when you're running a multi-billion-dollar business,
Yeah. And
I
this
can't expect Vicky
course.
or the CEO of the company to come and check. So then you hire the right people in place of Think Tank
Correct.
who can continue what we have built. If not,
Yeah.
we are ready to come in once in a while and do audits, and once in a while
Understood.
and come in, help and support you.
What's one thing that you ensure is common across all Watsons?
The one thing that we make sure that is common across all Watsons is not one, actually, it's three things. One is, it's a hangout space. So we don't judge you on a dress code.
Okay.
You can walk in shorts and flip-flops and have a good time. Two is, it's a comfort zone for the neighborhood. 8 out of 10 people you will know when the moment you walk into Watsons.
Yeah.
Because they're all regulars. And the third thing that we have maintained is some of our core signature dishes are available across all our Watsons, whether it's Chennai, Bangalore, or Kochi. And people know us for that. For example, we have a dish in Watsons called Mogo, which are cassava chips. And when we opened Goa, we couldn't find cassava there. I used to ship it every 2 days by bus from Bangalore to Goa.
Wow.
And it was a hit. So these are the three things that if you walk into a Watsons, you'll know you're in a Watsons.
Superb.
That
Right.
this is the ethos.
Yeah.
That is what we believe in.
Think Tank also claims that it saves 12% of your complete project cost by, of course, utilizing your existing vendor relations and so on and so forth. How do you achieve this?
So to point out the first thing, it's not 12%, it's close to 25%. The reason how Think Tank achieves this,
Yeah.
one is by we are your guiding, hand-holding teachers right from the project, who also gives the same brief to your architects, to your brief to your interior design and construction team, to your branding team, which saves you on time and money. One.
Yeah.
Two, we give them exact specifications of what's required. For example, this chair
Right.
is comfortable for us to sit,
Yeah.
have a drink. But is this chair comfortable for us to have a dosa? So those kind of details, right?
Understood.
Second, as Think Tank,
Yeah.
we only work with direct manufacturers or distributors, no middlemen. So you have a huge cost benefit
savings.
on
Yeah.
that. That itself is upwards of 20%. As much as it sounds like a sales pitch, Think Tank is zero kickbacks. we have started this company, Anupama
Right.
and myself. Not
Yeah.
1 rupee is a kickback. So
No, I'm pretty
we
sure
give
like
the
with this-
benefit. So
Yeah.
what happens? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason is, if you're successful
Right.
with the restaurant that you hired me for, you're going to open the second, the third, the fourth, and you're
Correct.
going to come to me for that.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
And you're paying me a fee for it. I'm getting what I want. With the manufacturers, with the distributors,
Yeah.
I'm giving them 10 to 15 projects a year on an average, minimum.
Correct.
And I tell them directly, Vicky will make the payment. You supply the products to Vicky. There's no kickback.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's also happy
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's used to giving. So he's got the best price from you. So
So
tomorrow,
it becomes a direct transaction.
And he's
Right.
happy. So tomorrow, if Vicky has to call him, हाँ sir, I'll fix
Exactly.
it right now.
Exactly.
कितने प्लेट चाहिए?
Right.
क्या चाहिए? क्या equipment बंद है?
Right.
And of course, the finale to this is that, like I said, my family's been in this business for 45 years. So I know the price. You can't come to me and sell me a CDJ 800 and tell me it's 6 lakhs.
Right.
It's as simple as that. I'm like, boss, I sell them for day by day.
Right. Yeah.
So I know the equipment. So I know the product and I
Yeah.
know the quality.
yeah.
And so I can tell them,
Superb.
don't buy this. Buy
Yeah.
the 9,000.
Right. Would you also say that you have somewhere managed to convert the processes which ThinkTanc recommends into a factory model of sorts, and that's how you're able to achieve the speed of scale? Because setting up so many restaurants or places or F&B places in this span of time is it actually like blows my mind, because I can, or either you have been just like working day and night with the team, of course. Yeah, but because a lot of this is thought ideation, right, and concepts and all of that.
So, Vicky, to answer that, firstly, I had a lot more hair before I started ThinkTank. So, you can understand how much sleeps I have lost.
Yeah.
And the other point is to answer, as a factory of sorts, we have SOPs in place.
Right.
So, we have SOPs in place.
Yeah.
We have direct networks with vendors.
Yes.
So, we know
Yes. Yeah.
what to do.
Right.
Like, for example, I want you to come and perform at my venue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's a new venue or it's a Watson's or whatever.
Right.
I have a direct connect with you.
Yes.
And you and me know what the charges are.
Yeah.
So I don't have to negotiate.
Of course. Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's in place.
Yeah.
The third thing is, when it comes to ideation, that is what keeps me awake till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night, because we are constantly researching of what's going to work, what's not going to work, what will be the exciting space. Like, for example, just to let you know, there's a place called Finca, opened 3 kilometers from here.
Right. Right.
On Tanisandra Main Road. It's our latest project and it's completely different. And that's one thing that ThinkTank can stand by and sign on bonded paper, that we don't replicate.
And
So it's not like, since I created a Chinese restaurant, tomorrow I'll create another Chinese. Yes, I will, but it will be completely separate. So that's how it is.
So of late, then I'd say that all your time goes into ideation and curation and envisioning new products.
Yeah. So
and the rest of it has been.
So Anupam and me spend a lot of time on menu research, dishes, trends, marketing, what's the preferences of dining. Like I said, 5 years ago, if I told you let's go for a vegan lunch, you'll be looking at me and wondering what's vegan.
Yeah.
But vegan's picking up today.
And you have to think ahead of the trends as well.
Correct.
Right?
So we have always have to be ahead of the curve.
Of course.
So like I said, maximum time of Anupam and mine is on that. And then we have to make it worthwhile for a client who comes to us and says, I want to do something.
Of course, because it's not just ideating concepts, but it also the practicality and the feasibility of it, right?
Yes, and it has to make sense to you money-wise also, right?
Yeah, correct.
You're putting in money.
Correct.
You're not just signing a charity check, right?
Yeah.
You were looking at a P&L.
So on those lines, has there been any concept which has looked amazing on paper, but when you have implemented it, it's tanked miserably?
Touch wood, we haven't tanked where our concepts have not worked. The only, like I said, I can name the brands in one hand which have tanked out of the 250 plus that we have done.
Yeah.
So that's less than 5.
Yeah.
That's because of external factors. The only one situation where a concept did not work out was thanks to COVID, because the concept was developed before COVID, and by the time post-COVID it launched, there was a gap of 4 years.
Right.
So the trend had changed.
Of course, understood. When COVID happened, you also, shut down one of the Shilton hotels, because I think, you had to keep the Watsons afloat at that point of time. How hard was that to you? Was it emotional?
So COVID was a very, very struggling time for me personally. Because, like I said, I have my fingers in multiple pies.
Right.
So, Feb 2020, 1 month before COVID, I launched 4 new outlets in tech parks. I had a bar in Manyata Tech Park.
Slug.
Called Slug.
Yes, yes.
And of course, we had Shilton, the hotel which you're talking about. Come March 2020, everything shut. And tech parks were the worst hit. So all those 6 outlets plus Slug was under lock and key. But I have bills to pay.
Right.
And one thing that I learned from my dad and I learned from the family was not to let people off. So entire COVID, we have not fired one staff.
Wow.
We have not let them go. We said that we can't pay your salary, but we ensured that the accommodation, food, minimal living is taken care of.
Yeah.
So that was the most difficult situation where we had to shut places. But the whole idea was that the thing is dying. There's no recovery. And the wait time for recovery is going to cost you 1x, 2x, 5x, 10x more. Might as well just nip it in the bud and keep the people happy.
Absolutely.
After the first wave ended, we still had all our staff with us. Not one had left.
Right. So, the 4 venues that you had opened just in COVID, so you, of course, ThinkTanc was supplying the whole staff and taking care. And
no, that was me personally as a investor.
Oh, okay. Got it. Right. Right.
So that wasn't ThinkTanc. That was me as a investor partner. Like I said, I have multiple pies that I have my fingers in. So that was my own brands that we had created.
Right. Right. Okay.
But the other one thing was good that during COVID, through NRAI, I ran the Feed the Needy campaign for Bangalore for about 2.5, 3 months. We used to feed about 1,200 people every day.
Every day?
Every day. And I had 4 guys in my kitchen.
Yeah.
I would go buy the whole groceries, give it. We'll have it ready and packed. And it would go mostly to all the laborers because they couldn't travel back.
Correct.
They couldn't go back to their hometown and all that. In fact, there's a video somewhere online of me and my father in my Porsche. And when the cops opened my Porsche, you had those checkposts, right?
Yes.
They open my Porsche and they find 300 kilos of onions and 200 kilos of rice and tomatoes and everything. And they're looking at me and they're like,
yeah.
dude, in a Porsche you have all this. I'm like, sir, I have to go to deliver. I have to go. Doesn't matter.
Oh. Let's also talk about Royanna military canteen. Okay, zero frills, no Instagrammability. But how does it work?
I'm born and brought up in Bangalore. I might be a Gujarati, but I'm born and brought up in Bangalore.
Right.
And we love pulao or
Yes.
biryani or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. There are
Right.
200 versions,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is a very
Yeah.
different topic that we can get into. So we created that brand in MG Road at the iconic old Indiana location. And the whole idea was to have simple military canteen food, which is your mutton pulao
Right.
or biryani, the way you want to call it, or chicken,
Yeah.
your mutton chops, keema, idli,
The proper military
Chapati.
canteen.
and rasam to finish your meal. And unfortunately, that was one of the brands we launched in 2019 December.
Yeah.
And 3 months later, lockdown happened. So, but that's where I ran the whole Feed the Needy campaign from.
Understood.
From that
Yeah,
kitchen.
from
It was
Royanna.
centrally located.
Correct. Right.
And everything. And it's still a brand close to my heart.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with me and my partners was that it should be called Royanna Military Canteen because my name's Amit Roy.
Roy.
So Royanna Military Canteen
Yeah.
because this and that. But
Right.
I am definitely hoping to relaunch it soon. Like I said, comfort food, right?
Correct.
You need it any day.
Exactly. Exactly.
If I give you idli and mutton chops
Every day.
or dosa and mutton chops for lunch or for breakfast, you might
Correct.
have it. Today
Correct.
you'll have it for breakfast, tomorrow you'll have it for lunch.
Lunch. Exactly. Yeah.
So we're waiting for the right spot
Yeah.
again and to relaunch it.
Also, what was the concept behind Meter Bar and how did you come up with that idea?
So, Meter Bar, to be honest, was Anupam's idea, my partner's idea,
Right.
not me.
Yeah.
It's something that he was working on for a long time.
Okay.
And we had it on paper, and the whole idea was that you pay for how long you drink and stay there. You don't pay for the amount you drink. So the whole concept was that if you and me sit on the table here right now,
Yeah.
the meter starts. And based on which package we go for. So for example, if you and me are drinking Old Monk,
Yeah.
we'll go for one package, which costs every minute, say 15 bucks or 30 bucks. And the meter starts.
Yeah.
So we order our Old Monks and we
Right.
keep drinking and order our food, which is on a la carte. Now, if you and me are single malt drinkers,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
Now, single malt drinkers, we'll say we want Glenlivet.
Yeah.
Obviously, it won't be at 30 bucks a minute.
Correct.
Then it will be at a much higher
Higher
price. It was, how would I say it? How would I position it? Is a more modern way of a happy hour, where
Understood.
you say buy one get one free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here I'm saying
Every
the
hour
longer
is a
you
happy
sit,
hour.
every day is a happy hour.
day. Yeah.
From the time we open to we close, it's a happy hour.
Right.
You sit, the
Yeah.
longer you sit is better for me. So I entice you to drink more. That's what happy hour is, right? I
Understood.
entice you to
Yeah.
drink more.
Yeah. But how easy or tough was this concept to explain to people?
Oh, it took us
and-
3 years. It took us 3 years because we had to build a software for it. Because how do I calculate the time you're sitting on, right? I can't use my watch or anything and say, Acha sir,
Right.
2 minutes. You will be like, no, it was not. I came late. So the whole thing was software driven, and I need algorithms as well
Correct.
into the software so that
Right.
I can track it also, right? Because tomorrow the waiter can say, sir, he sat for half an hour, I gave him 10 drinks.
Exactly.
But he served only 5, and the other 5 he sold to someone else and pocketed the cash.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So I have to make
yeah.
it foolproof. So we worked with Lucid Technologies
Okay.
and co-developed the entire algorithm software. All the loopholes were plugged. Then server speed, server space. It took us 6 months of on-site trials.
Of
2.5 years off-site
Offsite. Yeah.
in their office, R&D
Yeah.
office,
Yeah.
and 6 months on-site.
And there's no other concept like this in India.
No. So we
yeah.
still have hopes and our fingers crossed that someone will come and
Right.
back us on it.
But I think this would make a lot of sense in a large scale place, right? You will
Yes,
need at least
exactly.
like 1,500, seating kind of, like a mass.
Not 1,500 seating. I would say even a 500 seater.
Yeah. Around
Yeah.
that. At least you would need like volume, mass.
Yeah, about 5,000, 6,000 square feet space.
Right.
But we need someone who wants to do 5 to 10 places minimum.
Exactly.
Because the moment that number comes in, then the volume game comes in. With one outlet, it's actually you're losing money.
Of course. Right.
So if you have that game plan,
Correct.
that I'll start the first outlet today. By the end of 12 months,
Yeah.
I'll have 5 more outlets ready. Then it's a very profitable venture.
Right.
Because there's huge scope for advertising on the screen.
Exactly.
And each one had their own screens, which shows their time and how much drinks consumed. So there I can have ads playing.
Of course.
Then I can get my liquor partners on board to help and promote. And then, of course, my outdoor advertising. Like right now, IPL is going on.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I can use their advertising. And it's all a cost, right, today.
Right. I mean, I can see that probably like in a gaming arcade or something like that is where it would make a lot of, sense.
That's what I'm saying. So we need someone with a bigger game.
Continuing on the processes that you have put in place and the way you monitor your outlets, at Watson's you have let bartenders dictate the music playlist or curate the music playlist, by closely monitoring the till and the sales that have happened. Can you give us some insight into how this practice came into place?
So that is something that we realized that we understood what the guests, by a lot of analysis, right? We have a product and softwares and everything to.
Right.
And then we realized that what sort of music gets my customers to order more shots, order more repeats, order more drinks. See, as much as people say that, okay, fine, we are closing in the next 15 minutes, so order 4 drinks and keep on the table, that's not the fact of the matter. 50% of this job is done by you, the DJ.
Yes.
The kind of music that you play, if it gets me going,
then
I'm in the bar.
Yeah, correct.
I'm not there to eat biryani, right? So I want more shots.
Correct.
I want more drinks.
Yeah.
But is my DJ doing it to me or no?
Subconsciously.
Correct. So that's when we realize that what sort of music has to be played at what time. And next time when you're at Watson's or you're playing or anything, you'll notice that the manager or the bartender will come and tell you to up the tempo or lower the tempo is based on this, that the moment it happens, the more drinks start flowing. Like I was at Asai Road some time back and everything was going good. Music's going good, everyone's having a drink on the table and we are fine. 2 minutes later, he started playing that new song, Pate Pate. The moment that song came on, that entire table ordered 2 rounds of shots. Just cause for them that was the hottest song. So that's when we realized that it's very important. Because see, a DJ, if he's not a resident, he's playing at multiple places. But he does not know what sells here and what sells there. Right? Like here, Pate Pate sells.
Yes.
But if you went to another bar,
it will not.
It might not. Or you'll have to play a Punjabi song for all you know. Whereas when I was in Kochi, you would be shocked to hear.
No, I know. Your Shakira, Waka Waka, your Pitbull, this is where the bar sales goes up.
And no diggity.
Yeah.
no diggity. And I'm like, boss, I haven't heard this since college myself.
You're right, because they are like how Bangalore was 15 years back. Yeah.
And the moment that comes on, suddenly I'm seeing the bar getting
You're
slammed.
right. You're right.
And
Because we can see it, right?
Yeah.
We can feel that energy shift.
right.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we have done differently is majority of the places look at the DJ playing music for the crowd. Here, what we try to say is the DJ playing music is part of the entire experience.
You're right.
It's not just for you to dance.
Because if you have people dancing throughout the night, where's the sales?
Here, for me, a good DJ is the one who can get them to dance
Yes.
and drink.
Read the room. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
drink. And he has to read the room.
Of course.
It's
Of course.
not just about what song he likes or what is the hottest song in the market.
Right.
It's about what's going to go on there. Sorry to name it, but if you go to a place like a Bastion, you'll never
Yeah.
hear Pate Pate.
Yeah.
Because his whole positioning is different.
It's different. Yeah.
But in Watson's, it might be played twice or thrice a night on
Yeah.
a Friday or Saturday.
Have you, actually tested this on a repetitive basis wherein you have identified playlists and then you are further curated and automated segments and seen if it drives up sales?
We have
during
spent
peak
almost
hours?
3 years on it. Like I said in the beginning, that for example, live performances and acts don't work in Alsur. The amount of crowd Martin pulls to Indranagar,
Yeah.
if I do it at Alsur,
Yeah.
I'll have a drop of 50%
Correct.
because they don't accept that. So we watch a lot of things, we understand, and in fact, I was talking to someone today.
Yeah.
So there are 4 things that we look into,
Right.
right? One is, of course, my market analysis.
Yeah.
Second is my sales figures, because all our systems, computer systems, are point of sale systems, give me hour by hour, minute by minute reports. So I can understand when my sale jumped, when it reduced, what sold more at what time. So I'll know that my beer sold maximum between 5 to
5 to
7.
7 p.m.
And then 7 to 8, my shots flew out. Fireball went out, for example.
Right.
The third is the constant interaction between the staff with the customers.
Okay.
So you will say, what's this DJ playing, man? Ask him to change the song. You will tell that to the staff. He will go report it.
Right.
Now, 15, 20 people say that.
Yeah.
Then a report is created and emailed to us saying that we need to look into the programming.
Beautiful.
So in fact, I have spoken to Joy a couple of times for this also.
Understood.
That it's a factor that we consider.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fourth and the last is obviously the social media reviews,
Yes.
which comes online.
Yes.
Because you might not be comfortable in speaking in front of me and saying, Amit, the place is horrible.
Right.
This is not good. This is not happening. I can't understand this. But QR code review, you will give your full feedback genuinely, because I don't know you individually. Because your handle online might be very different.
Yeah.
So these 4 things we always monitor
Right.
in terms of music, food, place, everything. All our music programming is done by Joy.
Yes. Yes.
So it's his responsibility to brief each DJ
Right.
on each venue
Right.
on what night and what sort of music, especially if he's a new DJ.
Understood. Understood.
So there are times where I have also called up Joy and I said that, Joy, I'm here at Asai Road
Right.
or I'm in Indranagar.
Yeah.
What is the DJ playing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you ask him to get the vibe of the crowd? And in 5 minutes, it's fixed. So
Understood.
that proactiveness has to be there. And with Joy also, we have made it very clear with all the DJs who come and play.
Yeah.
If customers come and speak to you,
Yeah.
hear it. We don't want you to react immediately.
Right.
Like right now, he's going to come and tell you, play Choli ke piche kya hai.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am not saying you have to play that song.
No,
next.
just be polite. Just
Polite,
talk to them.
Just
Yeah.
hear it out.
Yeah.
Then we have weekly briefings.
Right.
During the weekly briefing,
Right.
bring it up.
Yes. Exactly.
that on Wednesday,
Yeah.
I had 10 customers ask me for Hindi music. On Friday,
Yes.
I had 15 customers asking me for hip hop. So I'll curate it. I'll do a
Right.
Bollywood night on Wednesday.
So Bangalore's nightlife, I feel, is currently a bit broken. Okay. What's your take on it, and where do you think we are heading?
So basically, it's a paradigm shift which is happening.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, See, we are used to in Bangalore being a small space like this, where if you wanted to go clubbing, you would go to UB City, Lavelle Road, MG Road, Church Street, Indiranagar. That's it. You wouldn't go anywhere else. But with the current market growing, with the current scenario happening, places are becoming a lot more suburban, which is what is globally happening.
Correct.
If you go to London, you go to Australia,
Right.
you go to Singapore, wherever you go,
Yeah.
correct?
Every place has a neighborhood
Yeah.
bar and a neighborhood club, which is
Yeah, like from where you're staying,
yeah.
if I call you to Koramangala to have one beer, you will say, sorry, boss. I'll send you the beer money.
Yeah.
You have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll GPay
Correct.
it to you.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Because the traffic and the travel time is not worth it.
Correct.
Correct. So we are in that phase where we need to get used to it, where people from this area will be in this area. People in that area will stay within that area and party in that area only.
And with time, it's just gonna get even more localized.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because more and more people, more and more properties
Correct.
are coming up.
Correct.
Right. See,
Yeah.
population is growing. There's no stop to that.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have on an average 10% increase in population every year
Yeah.
in Bangalore from people moving in from outside of Bangalore.
Right.
Right. As per the
Right.
numbers.
Yeah.
So they all want to step out. They'll step out where they are staying. Because of that shift happening right now, people are still expecting that I should have 500 people waiting outside my door, which is not going to happen. Because there are 500 other places and
Correct.
I'll go there. So that rationalization has to come in. And which is where the correction is going to happen slowly, where like you see places opening left, right and center.
And shutting down as well.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was just
Right.
going to say. I
Yeah.
don't want to name them, but
Right.
every week I get a call of 2-3 places up in the market.
Available for sale.
Because that they have thought that, okay, if Vicky is doing this much next to me, I'll open next to him and I'll also do that much. It's not going to happen. There's a huge knowledge behind it. Just because Vicky opened the place, it doesn't mean it's going to make money.
But see, do you also think that, well, like coming through the ages, we have seen a time in Bangalore when they were the best of nightclubs and they were proper venues when people would go dancing. And then it evolved or, moved into a brewery and open spaces kind of place. And, wherein clubs slowly started declining and there were like barely proper nightclubs in the city. And that also has to do a lot with the licensing laws and regulations and the timelines and all of that. Do you foresee that coming back, wherein proper nightclubs are again going to make an entry back into the Bangalore scene?
See, there are multiple aspects to this, right? One, for example, whatever said and done, from day one, Bangalore loves its draft beer, fresh beer.
Okay.
So, microbreweries and fresh beer are always going to be the
numero Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One. Second, Bangalore is always known as an outdoor space. If this was a pub, that area would be seated first, then anyone else will come here.
Right. Yeah.
So the moment we have an outdoor space with the music and the decibels and all that, it becomes a problem.
Correct.
On the flip side, nightclubs is becoming a space, but you got to understand that why would you go to a nightclub or a disco on a Friday or a Saturday? So what happens the rest 5 days of the week? Unlike abroad,
Yes.
where if you go to Europe, you go to Australia, you go to Singapore, Thailand, you're not paying by the hour,
Correct.
the salary or the wages. You're paying by the month.
Yes.
So if I have to use them for 10 days in a month, why am I paying them for 30 days? And the cost of opening those balance 20 days, it's dead.
Yeah.
You have electricity, you have power,
Absolutely.
everything running, music,
Absolutely.
everything running.
Yeah.
And then you hire a DJ and he's got some 15 people standing there. What's the point?
Yeah.
If you're investing X amount
Yeah.
and expecting 30
You're right.
days of revenue,
Right. You're right.
it's not going to
It's not
happen.
going to happen. Yeah.
See, we are not a tourist spot
Correct.
like
To run like a European city or
like a Paris or an Amsterdam or London, that every night I'll get a, or Ibiza where I'll get a DJ every night.
Right.
And a Monday night or a Saturday night makes no difference.
Understood. Yeah.
But then again, if you have a nightclub, the whole idea of a nightclub is it has to be crowded. However good the music is, however
Whatever
good the
it
sound
is.
system is, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But if there's not people around you,
Right. The whole concept is lost.
so that's where I think in the next 3 to 5 years we'll see it stabilizing a little bit, but not till then.
So, Amit, what's the most illogical licensing regulation that you have ever dealt with?
The music and the smoking law. I don't understand what's the logic behind that. So, even though if you have an open air space, you still need a smoking room with an exhaust and a private ventilation system as per the law.
Okay.
And that makes no sense because you're in open air space.
Right. And I don't think a lot of places have it as well. Right. But it's a mandatory law.
Yeah. So that's one. Second is the music law. To get music performers, first of all, you're mixing a DJ with a live band.
Yeah. You don't know what the difference is. Right.
One.
Yeah.
Second, because you're performing music, you have to have so many other safety and regulations in place. So if you don't have music, you don't need those safety and regulations. Simple question, right? So if I have DJ Vicky playing at my place, I need to adhere to these 10 conditions. If I don't have DJ Vicky playing at this place and I have a Spotify, same place, I'm okay.
Oh, that's how it works, supposedly.
So, and you have to jump through so many loopholes for that. You also got to understand that, boss, what documents you're asking for. Does it even make sense or relate to this? If you're asking for those documents, and you want that permission, I am okay with it. Because I have got music license for most of my places. But then make it mandatory for every place. Just because DJ is playing, the laws are separate. But if a USB is playing, laws are separate. How does that work? Makes no sense, right? Because same people are dancing, jumping, whatever. Same amount of people are coming. I have the same entry, exit. I have the same bar. I have the same kitchen. I have everything the same. Only difference is I don't have to pay the DJ. I'm playing from USB. So these two things are like I still just can't get.
See, we know that you have a dossier which has all the like necessary documents, and you have been able to fend off these guys whenever they come. It just goes over my head that like, see, first of all, I mean, even the people who come down to stop the party or like let it proceed beyond, of course, like it's within the agreed time and the permissible time, Even within that, when they come and when they produce when you produce these documents, what's the standard response? I think they don't even have an idea of like what's in there.
Uh, I wouldn't blame them 100%. I would just say that they don't have the knowledge. It's a simple thing, right? Like, for example, you're a DJ. You're playing music on these two speakers.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to take your decibel test outside of the
Yes.
venue. Because music outside should not go. Because
Exactly.
your neighbor's not going to hear what's playing here.
Of course.
Your neighbor's going to hear what's playing outside.
Of course. Yeah.
But these guys will come, place the decibel meter next to your speaker. Obviously, it's going to be loud. And then they'll see the reading.
Right.
As per law, it's way above the reading. Let's take your speakers and go. And sometimes DJs are also taken and gone.
You're right. It's happened even in venues close by, everywhere. Yeah.
So I'm like, they should have been taught that. Because they're just following rules someone has told them.
You're right.
Ishtide andre tagon hogbidi.
Correct.
But they should know, boss, where you should take that reading from. If I'm on 12th May in Indranagar on a Saturday night, the traffic reading is more than the nightclub reading.
You're absolutely right.
Correct? So then how are you catching us? Like, we've built a property which has a top of the line sound system, but completely soundproofed. You can't hear a word outside the space. And we have a Bose sound system in a nightclub. So you can imagine what we have spent on. You can't hear it outside.
Correct.
But if you come inside, it's definitely going to be loud. But you don't know. So what do? You want to take my system and go. You want to take my DJ and go. You want to take my manager and go. That's what's happening. When you interpret the law,
you're right.
You got to understand it to a system. Like a DJ playing music is nowhere close to a live band. A live band could be a single piece artist,
right?
2-piece, 3-piece, or a full-fledged live band with cymbals, drums, and everything. That level is very different. How can you compare that to a DJ playing?
But currently the laws are the same, whether it be the live band or a DJ or a USB stick or a Spotify.
So that is where it has to be seen that there has to be some knowledge behind what you put into play. Problem is because the lawmakers themselves don't know what law they have signed on.
You're right. There's no clarity from the top itself.
So the top defines the law and has an education class with the lower levels. They will know whether you're breaking the law or not.
But why aren't these issues being taken up seriously with so much revenue being pumped out from the industry?
So, we have multiple lobbying happening at multiple levels with the government.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's a slow process.
Understood.
So what happens is, I tell you, I come represent as a body to you.
Yeah.
You understand.
Right.
But then you will tell me, Saibru helide agala. So I'm like, okay, get me a meeting with him so I can explain it to him. Saibru busy.
Red tape.
So the red tape,
unnecessary red tape,
is a huge problem. And look at it globally. Look at places like Bali.
Right.
Look at places like Ibiza. Look at places like Amsterdam, Paris, London. See the nightlife.
Yeah, of course.
And in Bangalore, what do we have? We are not a tourist spot. We are not a business hub like Bombay. We are not a capital city like Delhi.
Yeah.
So, why can't we just be more accommodating and create something for people to visit Bangalore? Because that's where the revenue is. See, the more tourists that come into Bangalore, hotels will make money, which indirectly is GST for the government. Taxis will make money, which is employment. Restaurants and hotels will make money because of F&B. and your tourist spots will make money.
Yeah.
Charge fees.
Yeah.
Today, if I go to Red Fort in Delhi, as an Indian, it's $50. As a foreigner, it's $500.
You're right.
We have such lovely historical places in Karnataka.
Absolutely.
We should promote that. Privatize the tourism.
Right.
We have this lovely Alsur Lake. That place is shut.
You're right.
Just imagine doing a nice restaurant there.
You're right.
Restaurant and bar over there, overlooking the lake. You will be packed. And the government will get revenue. I've come from London recently.
Right.
I just got back from UK.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every building is sticking to the next building.
Yeah. Correct.
But there's no space.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone has a basement kitchen.
Right.
And a bathroom kitchen. Why do we ban it? Work around it.
Right.
Work around it. You need to start thinking that 10 years from now.
Correct. How will the city be?
How will the city be?
Yeah.
What will Bangalore be? We were known as the garden city, the pub city.
You're right.
Where's the gardens now? Where are the pubs now? You're killing everything one by one. Lakes also, you're
it's gone.
Sanding it and putting apartments and buildings over there and all that.
Right.
The whole thing is to have a longer vision, and it's happening globally. So what's your problem?
So if you had a chance to make 2 or 3 changes in the nightlife policy to help Bangalore nightlife grow more sustainably, what would it be?
One is segregate the nightlife from the policing. The reason is, like, if you notice that the maximum dry days that happen in Bangalore are because the law and order system do not have enough manpower to control the people. For example, Puneet Rajkumar demise. Dry day. Why?
Because the cops could not control the crowd.
So, one is to segregate that. Boss, you cannot. You develop your law and order system in such a way that it should be able to control the crowd. Whether we are a 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, or 5 million, or 20 million population, you should have enough police force for it. It's a very stupid thing that, I can't control means I'll lock the doors. Second, have the longer vision that you need to be known globally. Because we have the top startups of the country in Bangalore. We have a lot of the top global startups in Bangalore. So, if we have to be a global city, we have to meet global standards. You tell me where you go in London or Singapore or Thailand for that matter, or New York, where they say 11 o'clock last order, we are shutting down. Yes, if you go to the suburbs, it's different.
Yeah.
Like if I go to a Glasgow, the restaurants will shut at 11. I agree.
Yeah.
But not Edinburgh, not London.
Right.
London, I can get food 24 hours.
Of course. And there are still your places where you get food like 24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Dono kebab, any lane you'll get it
All
over
the
there.
Turkish places are open. Yeah.
Understand where you want to be on the global map. Don't look at it locally. Look at it from a 30,000 square feet, 30,000 height.
Right.
That where we can be. And we have the infrastructure. We have the bandwidth. And the last, not more than the government, it's also about us in respecting the law and order, which is a huge concern. Today, like for example, coming over here, I saw at least 4 or 5 bikes going down the wrong side of the road.
Correct.
And no one cares.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why? It should come from us. We should not do that. Don't throw your trash on the side of the road. Correct?
These are civic basics.
Civic basics. So that's coming from us.
Yeah.
So same thing over here. Us as people also have to respect it.
Absolutely.
If the government says, do not do this, we should have the basic responsibility to respect it. Otherwise, whatever the government says, we'll say, "Bas 500 रुपए दिया, हम हमारा करते जाते हैं, हमको क्या फर्क पड़ता है?"
Right. That's the mentality that's there.
That is also going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Great.
this is something that we need to correct, and that's what's the new generations have to realize. Because what we study in school and college now is no bribes,
Correct.
no corruption, no cutting the law. Why don't we put it in place?
Of course. Why is it not being implemented?
Yeah.
Right.
Why we are only saying, "Here's 500
Yeah.
bucks, boss. Leave it. I'll go. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Next time."
Right. Right. No, you're absolutely right. It has to come from within.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have the civic sense and you don't love your city, right, then you can't do anything for it. Yeah.
True.
What problem in hospitality are you still trying to solve after all these years in the industry?
Staff attrition.
It's still the number one issue.
It's the highest in hospitality globally. Attrition of staff.
Yes,
And it's not
yeah.
just in Bangalore or Karnataka or India or Asia or whatever. It's globally. One is a lot of them, because hospitality, unlike other cities or other countries, don't have a lot of educational requirements. It's a thing that a lot of people jump into it.
Got it.
Right? Like, I know how to speak English. I might not know computer skills, or I might not know anything. I'm not even a graduate, but I can become a waiter tomorrow.
There's no bare minimum.
Yeah. The only requirement for me was English. Or if I know the local language, I'll join a local startup, restaurant, establishment. And I'm doing well.
Right.
And it's making ends meet.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So the moment I get even 500 rupees more from someone else, I'll jump there.
Yeah, understood.
Because it's extra
Understood.
500 for me.
Yeah. Because someone's starting off on a minimum wage and then, yeah, right.
And a lot of them are not even paid minimum wage.
You're right.
They're way below minimum wage.
You're right.
So for them, that 500 bucks is a huge amount. So they jump. So that, and secondly, what's happening is with the volume of spaces in hospitality, especially. Now, say for example, you do a good high-end bar or a restaurant. You need a GM. You have to pay him, say,
Top dollar.
$10.
Yeah.
10x. I open a microbrewery. Or a 3 times bigger bar than you. I still need a GM. Only one GM.
Yes.
I can pay him 10% more than you or 20% more than
Right.
you.
So I'll poach. Right.
That is the biggest one concern.
Right.
The second concern is the whole idea of Indian population and eating out culture. So everyone thinks, 1.4 billion population, everyone will eat out 5 times a week.
Right.
Not all of us eat out 5 times a week.
This is the logic that
Everyone, because that is what they have learnt and they have seen in Singapore, they have seen in Hong Kong, they have seen in Thailand, they have seen in London, they've seen in Paris, but they're like, but we are like, boss, we don't. Even if we eat out 5 times a week, it's not going to be at your fancy 3-star restaurant. I might come there once a month. Remaining times I'll go to the neighborhood shop and pack my food and go home. So that is a concern, and that's also something that's where the comfort zone comes into play. As long as you have your comfort food, comfort drinks, people will come more and more often.
Right.
And of course, the last and final biggest headache in the market right now is the aggregators. The amount of commission they take from us to deliver food.
Right. Yeah.
So
Correct.
that leaves you with, actually, a lot of people make a loss by.
But they still want to do it because they want to be on the platform.
FOMO. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So pure FOMO.
Right. We are going to jump into this, rapid fire section, as I
Sure.
call it, and we are going to place you in the hot seat. Okay, so no thinking twice. You just have to answer it straight the
Done.
way it is. What's one project you wish you would never took on, and why?
Project I did in South Bangalore
Okay.
because it took almost 5 years to complete.
Which restaurant in Bangalore do you secretly admire but would never admit in public?
Public also,
Yeah.
I would say it, but if not, I love the Deg, which is close to my house. It makes the best mutton biryani in town. Old
Nice.
school Bangalore mutton
Yeah.
biryani makes the best in town.
Have you ever had to fire a client instead of the staff, and what happened?
So we did. We turned a couple of clients down because their philosophy and their thoughts did not match what ThinkTanc wanted to do.
Okay, right.
So we told them that it's best to part ways because it doesn't see us working
Yeah. They were
together.
insistent on you taking up the work.
They were insistent on doing some things their particular way in the project,
Right, understood.
which we were not
Comfortable.
with. And I'm like, boss, I don't want that brand to be associated with me. So we said no to them.
What's the worst pitch that someone has ever made to you?
I want to open a restaurant and recover my money in 3 months. My budget is 15 lakhs.
Have you ever had to pay a bribe to keep a venue running? Be honest.
Tricky question. So my laughter says it all.
Right.
Yes to the officials. Obviously, you know who we are talking about also.
What's on F&B trend that you think is complete nonsense?
The amount of ghee they put in idli and dosa. I don't want to name them, but
Right.
yeah.
No, I know who we are talking about.
I don't want half a kilo of ghee in my dosa and my
Right.
idli.
It's not the traditional way, and
Yeah,
it's not even
it's
helpful
not-
in any way.
And trust me, I'm born and brought up in Bangalore. In the
Yeah.
last 40 years, I've never seen this.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
where did this come from?
Do you think that all the venues that have come up in Koramangala have added to Bangalore nightlife or taken away from it?
Koramangala nightlife is more like Pattaya, Bangkok. If you've been to that parallel JNC road
Yeah.
with all those LED screens and all that. But again, I think Koramangala is its own hub.
Right, right.
So, like I said, you and me would not travel from here to go to Koramangala to party
But
tonight.
people who are there are having a blast of
Yeah.
their lives. Yeah,
And I think Bollywood works maximum in Koramangala
correct.
compared to the rest of Bangalore.
Have you ever caught a staff member running a side hustle into your business?
Oh, multiple times. Multiple times. And that's why we have checks and measures in place.
Right, right.
And we give them a chance to speak to them and understand why
Yeah.
and for what reason they did that.
Right.
And if they come clean, we give them another chance.
Okay.
If not, there's the door.
Yeah.
Please.
Please. Yeah. So I think so. That's it from
Super.
us today. Amit, thank you so much for coming on the Big
Lovely
Picks.
meeting you, Vicky, again after a long time, and happy to be here.
And I still am not able to fathom, where do you get so much time from, with the number of brands that you have set up and everything.
That's a question a lot of people ask me, and I'm like, that's why, boss, I'm sleepless half the time, and I have no hair.
No, but I mean, it's been a wealth of insight.
So with hospitality, I'll tell you something to sum it all up.
Yeah,
If you don't have the love for it,
yeah.
don't get into it.
Don't do it. Right.
It's not an easy job.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a pure passion P&L investment like a software unicorn that you'll become tomorrow.
And it can't be a side hustle.
It can't be a side hustle. You have to be in it to live it. There are times when at 4 in the morning I've gotten calls and gone to the restaurant. I've gotten calls at 5 in the morning and gone to the cops station because the manager was being taken by the cops for some
Right.
reason or the
Right.
other.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
you can't say, ki, sorry boss, I'm on a holiday. Like last 3 weeks when I was in London,
Yeah.
I spent at least 3 hours a day on the phone. And my wife was like, what are you doing? I said, I'm working.
Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, so there are no holidays. There
So
are
there's no
off days.
when others holiday, we work because Christmas is a big day.
Yeah.
New Year's is a big day.
Right.
New Year's Eve. For the first 13 years of my career in this business, I have not taken off on Christmas or New Year's. I was working. So unless and until you're in it for the passion of it and you enjoy it, don't get into it. If you think, okay, fine, I gave 1 crore check or 5 crores check to Vicky and Vicky made it 10 crores, forget it.
Right,
Then you
right.
open a 5-star hotel, hire one company and let them
Exactly.
do it.
Yeah. That's super. Thanks a lot, Amit. It's such a
No
pleasure
worries.
to have you on.
Lovely.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much, Vicky.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.